if it was illegal to say stupid things into a microphone.
Why must you be so stupid?
These guys would be doing life without parole.
Hey, everybody, we're back from prison.
Why do we keep encouraging this kind of behavior? It's the Breaking the Ice podcast with Josh Dolan.
You know, we could, go to jail for this.
Along with Mike Shue and Isaiah Moskahana Mana Blitz Boskowitz, whatever the hell his name is.
Thanks for reminding, because if he jumped in, I would have forgot that I wasn't recording.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Another Josh Dolan production.
Nobody saw it again.
Well, right up top, let's thank our sponsors. We always forget to do that. And we got to thank Garage Doors Plus. Chris has been with the Breaking the Ice podcast since the very beginning. And Boston Exterior Remodeling, also
Joe Dan's.
And thank you to Invoke Media Group, who've been a sponsor and who run BreakingTheIcePodcast.com.
Makes us look like a real show.
I know. It makes us look way more professional than we really are. Josh and I were just talking about the last episode with Nemer from the Lebanese comedian. Well, he's Lebanese-American, I guess you could say. But that was one of my favorites. That was one of my favorite episodes. That one and the Tom Dreesen one.
Tom Dreesen. I mean, like you said after we got done with Tom Dreesen, you're like, I feel like I just talked to a former president.
Yeah. I mean, that guy was part of history. You know, it really amazed me that he was in the only biracial comedy duo in history. There's never been another one. I mean, not that at that level anyway, that we know of. You know, him and Tim Reed, Venus Flytrap from WKRP.
Or for people my age, Sister on Disney.
There you go. Right? Yeah, exactly. There he is.
There he is.
Okay, he probably can't hear us. Can you hear me?
No, I can't.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you. Let me turn it up then.
And also Wolfpack Coffee.
Yeah, we were just thanking our sponsors. Wolfpack Coffee, thank you very much. I'm drinking my Wolfpack iced coffee right now.
Excellent.
Me too.
It's well, I've called him several different names over the years. It's Doug Dave Green. We'll get into that name later on. Also Selectman Breen at one point. Yeah, I see the sign. Are you running again?
No, I had to find that in a closet earlier today, and I brought it up for you.
Selectman Breen.
Yeah.
That was always fun. He was Dave Breen was a part-time jock on WAAF for how long? Forever. You were there way before
20 years, man.
20 years, yeah. You were the number one go-to guy for producing the Hillman Morning Show for fill-in producer.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
That's always an experience. And so I would run into you on weekends when I first started there. And
I was so pissed at you.
Why?
Because you took all my jobs, man.
I'm sorry. Well, you
got dude, you did morning show, you did middays. You know, it was like Carrie coming in. Really? The girl got the night job, and I'm stuck here doing overnights on weekends now again?
I'm doing overnights, and I'm running a super successful, entertainment establishment, and I'm a selectman of, what town was it? Was it Mendon?
Mendon, yeah.
Yeah, selectman in Mendon.
A little town of Mendon.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so sorry you had 5 other jobs.
And then AF hired me and he left because he was like, they're hiring this kid. Screw this.
I'm done.
But the Doug Dave Green thing, I mean, Carrie was calling you that. We were calling you that all the way up to the last night. We were on the air.
I know.
And that came from the PD Dave Douglas wanting you to change your name, right?
Yeah, so what happened was when I first started on the air, there was Dave Lee was on the air. And I came in as Dave Breen. And he's like, God, you can't have – the names are too similar. You're going to have to change your name. I'm like, change my name? I'm working in Boston radio. I want, as you guys know, I want my friends to
right, exactly,
to know it's me. So I'm like, all right, let me think about it. Finally, he goes, you know what? You're Doug Green. I'm like, I went from Irish Catholic to a Jewish white guy. I'm like, all right, yeah, here I am. And and it was fine.
You know, Doug Green is actually, that's a name you would give to the traffic guy who's up in the copter. Doug Green and the WBZ copter, traffic copter.
Let me do that, right? Oh, no, that was less. So then what happened was I started doing some stuff. I was doing the morning show. I did middays one day for Ozone. And then what happened was I was going on the air after Hillman when Chris Angle was still there. And he was producing the morning show back in the day in Westboro. And Greg had looked at him and goes, "Hey, who's up next?" And and Chris was like, "Dave, Doug." And he was getting all nervous. And he's like, "Doug, Dave." And
that's it.
That was it, man. It just stuck.
You had 4 names after that.
even on the program log, when I'd work with the weekends, I show up on Saturday. Up next, Doug, Dave, Greenbreed.
Right. Yeah. No, but I can. And for literally years, I really wasn't sure what your real name was.
Still to this day.
Yeah.
To this day, I have one of my wife's cousins. He still calls me Doug when I see him. I'm like, "How you doing?" To this day, that happened.
Dave was also a part of WAAF history, at least when I was there, when Limp Bizkit played their surprise show on top of a garage on Brookline Avenue.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they entrusted Dave with keeping that a secret, the location. Well,
they didn't tell me, so it was really easy for me to keep that secret.
Oh, really? I thought you knew the whole time.
No, they wouldn't tell you. You kidding me?
Wow, you're awesome. You're so reliable. What a loyal fuck. Nah, never mind. Fuck that.
And I've got like 30 seconds on MTV as I still watch that.
On that. I say, come on, Dave. That's like my MTV debut right there.
So yeah, it was that was a lot of fun that day. It was a lot of fun.
I remember I think I was doing like live cut-ins from the Sammy Hagar show out at Suffolk Downs. And I kept asking you, "Come on, Dave, just tell me what it is." And you're
"Hey, what's going on?" Dude, I had no idea. He was like, "I'm going to give you a clue. It's popcorn and applesauce." I'm like, "All right, no idea what you're talking about."
What the fuck?
Fred, but okay, we'll just put this right on the air right now.
Yeah, that was like AAF history, man. Like we were the only ones that were covering that event, and they went up.
That was when radio was fun.
That was when it was crazy. Yeah,
it was awesome. It was a great time back then.
Yeah, it was like, well, that was a near riot because they played 5 tunes and then the cops came, and then people started getting pissed, and then the riot police showed up, and then they started shaking the AAF van like they wanted to turn it over. I'm like, "Hey, we helped put this on. We're
on your side.
We wanted them to play longer. What the fuck?"
Oh, yeah, it was. That's the back in those days was a lot of fun with everything going on in the studio, just outside the studio doors, in the telephone room. We all knew. Remember, we all knew where the plug was to unplug it so Dave Douglas could listen to us in the studio. You walk into the telephone room and pull the wire out.
Yeah, and I wonder how many people did. Everybody know that?
We all did it. We all walked in and unplugged it I think every shift.
Yeah, he could listen in somehow with one of the mics and
listen to the whole studio.
Yeah, we were talking about him. Very Stalin-like.
That was always a fear of mine in the studio, was like you'd start talking about something and then you'd start whispering, like, "I know we're in a locked room right now, but let's just keep it down in case these mics are on."
Well, Dave Breen, also, you're the owner, you're the CEO of Pinz in Milford, right?
I am. Yeah, I got 4 other locations besides that as well. Yeah.
What was, now for people that aren't familiar with it, was it the Roller Kingdom? Is that what it was
called?
No,
it was Skate Palace originally.
Skate Palace, that's it. Right, yes. The Skate Palace.
Yes. I think that's where I started as Super Dave, back then.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. You might have been at the competing Roller Kingdom up the street, but,
No, actually, I was at the Ledgmere Roller Inc.
Oh, you were in Ashland.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't. Oh, wait, we're recording, aren't we? Josh, edit that part out.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Hey, man, you're underage. You can't drink. You got to go somewhere to score chicks. That was the place.
At the roller rink.
Yeah, at the roller rink. Eating some tile-like rink pizza and
couples baby
backwards. Yeah, couples.
Trio skate. Oh yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. But now Pinz is full-on restaurant, bar, bowling alley, and most recently a live music venue too.
Correct. Our Kingston location, especially, we've done some pretty big shows with Buck Cherry. Unfortunately, the late Frankie Benally from Quiet Riot just played there about a year and a half ago, right before he was diagnosed. The Fuel has been there. A few other bands as well. So it's been great.
Did you have Seven Dust at one point?
No, but I did hang out with them a few times back in the day.
I think we all did.
In Rocco.
Right. Well, of course, Rocco was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of his charming personality.
Yeah.
Right? Dude, I can get you one of those. You need some of that?
No, 7 Dust would have been great to have.
Josh and I were talking before we went on. So you've got basically everything in one place: restaurant, bar, live music venue, recreational sport place. So
we get axe throwing too.
Seriously, you get axe throwing?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Are you guys? Yeah. So are you guys able? Are you open now?
So it's funny, you know, I've been bitching on Facebook a lot lately about the arcades not being open. Yeah. So when I got yelled at by some ladies today. What's that?
And on the news.
Oh, I'm doing everything I can right now. So I can open up the restaurant, half the restaurant. I can't open the bar. I can open up half my bowling lanes. I can't use my arcade in Massachusetts. I can't use laser tag in Massachusetts. I can't use any virtual reality. Of course, you know, no, live music is about done at this stage. So it's difficult. Like I'll just use Milford as an example. I'm down 80% right now in revenue.
Wow.
80%. I was looking at, Milford's down almost $1.5 million so far this year.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And that's just one location. So it's tough right now.
Do you just have the 2? Kingston?
I have 5.
Oh my God. Really? Dude,
listen, once I retired from WAAF, I got busy.
He took all my shifts.
Well, listen, you know what?
Entertainment industry mogul over here. Oh, you took my part-time shift.
Hold on. You know when I realized I needed to hang up the headphones, if you will, was 3 weeks in a row, I got a call either from Josh or somebody going, "Hey man, you coming in?" I'm like, "What do you mean? You were on the air at 2." I'm like, "Oh shit." You know, I'm like, "All right, I'll be right there. 40 minutes. Give me 40 minutes. I'll be right there." Up in my car, grab my headphones, and finally I go, "This just isn't working. I'm just too busy right now. I can't do this anymore." So
is that why you got your pilot's license so you could fly to the studio?
Oh, that's right. You're a pilot too.
I'm very busy. You know, I did. I got my pilot's license. Yeah, and I've done a little bit of everything. So you can only open half your lanes, no arcade, no laser tag, correct,
basically no live entertainment,
correct.
So what are you doing to stay open?
I am living on a dream right now. I mean, I'm just hoping, you know, it rains. You know, let's be honest. I mean, we've got the restaurant, but you know, it's like I'll talk to my wife and forget I would be even in the business. Hey, let's go out to dinner tonight. Where do you want to go? Do you want to go to Outback? Do you want to go to Fleming's in Boston, or do you want to go to Dave & Buster's? If I even gave her the option to say Dave & Buster's or Pinz in this case, you know, then like a slap to the face. Like, really? You're gonna take me out to dinner and we're going where? We're not going to, you know, Shrewsbury Street. We're not going to, you know, Worcester. We're not going to Pinz. So the food is good. It's pub style food, but right, it's more of a convenience food while you're there. You know, when you're there, hey, let's get a bunch of apps for the table while we're bowling or while we're in the arcade or while we're doing something. So our restaurant, even though our restaurant is half open, we just don't do the revenue over there. Our money was in the bar. We did a big bar business, big, you know, nighttime business, and that's basically zilch right now. So I got to hope that people come in and bowl. And people are afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are still afraid, very afraid.
So they're allowing you to rent shoes.
Yes.
And to use like multiple people using the same ball.
Yeah, well, the way it works with every other lane is you only have that one ball return. So it actually works out well. So it's usually just your group that's touching the balls. And then we go in and clean your balls when you're done. You can take that. However,
isolate that. Isolate that for the promo. Yeah. Welcome to Pinz.
If you bring your own ball bag, we can't clean your balls.
So you only have half the lanes open. I mean, do you make any money doing that? I mean, does that pay for anything?
You know, Milford's got 20 lanes, so I'm running 10 lanes right now. I've got other stores like in Hadley, Massachusetts, out in Western Mass. I've got 8 lanes. So I can use 4 lanes. I haven't opened that building since March. Kingston's got 16 lanes. That means I can open up 8 lanes. And that's right near Plymouth Harbor, and where all the bars and the restaurants down there are really, really busy. They're not going to where I am. They're going 5 minutes down the road to the ocean. You know, they'd rather look at the water. It's just the season. Now, once September hits and October hits, it may change a little bit, but we tried operating that center and it just didn't work, so we shut it back down.
Now, is your New Hampshire location all the way open?
I opened it. That's a brand. I was building that in the middle of all this. Portsmouth, New Hampshire. We killed it this weekend. We had a great weekend. 100% open. New Hampshire's a different animal.
Yeah, they're wide open, right? They've allowed
wide
full
open
capacity.
Arcades open, the restaurant's open. People can sit at the bar, but once someone sits at the bar, we have to create 6 feet of separation on each side. But they at least allow people to sit at the table, at the bar and everything.
No, wait a minute. You can't sit at the bar in Massachusetts?
No, you have to have a table against the bar or near the bar. And the bartender that's behind the bar can't serve drinks or food over the bar top.
Now,
they have to literally walk around the bar.
Yeah, I know that. And I wanted to ask you about that because I was at Nick's over here in Worcester, down in Kelly Square, and the bartender told me that. She's like, I have to come around and hand this to you.
Yeah, that's what they're by law. They have to do that.
What is the specific reason for that? That they can't reach, 16 inches over a bar or whatever and hand you a drink. They have to walk all the way around it.
They created a policy in Massachusetts with the opening committee, and that's my dog. If you hear him, he's quite mad at me today because I've walked him out. They've created some policies in Massachusetts that it's just made it very, very difficult to operate. And they stopped, the committee stopped working on July 2nd. So all the rules that they put in place are set, and nothing has been changed in Massachusetts since then. We've got a contagious rate right now, under 1%, 0.9%, yet he will not do anything. Nothing will happen. Why the reason is you can't push a drink over the top of the bar is beyond me. Why someone can't sit at the bar and then do a 6 feet of separation for right now, because clearly this is a very contagious pandemic that's going on. We get that. We see it. We saw it with University of Alabama that just happened. We see what's going on right now.
Well, here in Worcester at Holy Cross, they had a party and 10 cases,
Yeah.
I just don't get all the games. Like, it's either contagious or it's not. Like, why? Like, you have to wear a mask to walk 10 feet through a restaurant, but once you're sitting, you can take it off. Like, the virus knows if you're sitting or standing.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. You're absolutely right, Josh. The rules and the laws are absolutely silly. So they put arcades in with ball pits, and they moved us to phase 4. So our arcade cannot open up until there's a cure, which is what, March? I mean, when are they going to give us a cure? Maybe. So anyone that owns an arcade, your Dave and Buster's, they're out of business. I wouldn't be surprised if those guys just shut up and leave, and leave the state. It's that bad. But why you can't play? And here's the key: you can play video poker at Encore or MGM or slot machines.
Yeah.
And you're old, you're feeble, you sometimes you're on an oxygen tank, because clearly we see that in some of these casinos. But a young, healthy family can't come in and play the arcades in our businesses.
Right. Again, I can't imagine how the virus knows the difference between gambling and then just playing an arcade game.
Oh no, there is a huge difference. You don't realize it, Josh? It's called tax revenue.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's what the virus is focusing on.
Yes.
Dave, I was going to ask you about that, and I know I don't know if you want to answer certain things, but it's like it seems to me like these rules are leaning more towards restaurants and casinos and things like that, less towards bars and like bowling alley, arcade things, and also live music venues who are getting really fucked.
They're getting decimated.
In my
Absolutely
opinion. That's why it's interesting, because you've got like all 3 of those things, but minus the casino, but you've got all 3 of those things in there. Is it about who's lobbying? Who was lobbying the committee for the rules? Is there something like that involved?
I joined a coalition. They call it an arcade coalition. There's about 15 or 20 different venues. It's Pinz, Ryan Family down the Cape Cod area. In the game in Peabody, there's a lot of the arcades, say in up in the coastline, on the beach side. There is North Bowl and Attleboro, Apex, all those guys. We all joined together, joined forces. We are filing a lawsuit against Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Wow.
And matter of fact, I have a call as soon as I get done here with the attorneys about that.
Is it because of what we were talking about here, like there's some rules that just aren't consistent with other?
It is just 100% right. And what they're doing with us, and just they won't even talk to us. We hired a lobbyist firm. We actually met with Secretary Keneally. We met with Lieutenant Governor Polito one-on-one and had all these conversations. We pulled what the casinos got approved to open up their slot machines with what you could use, or what they would do. Like they guaranteed that they would deep clean all their equipment once every 4 hours. They would do their best to walk around and make things as clean as possible during the regular times. Obviously, the mask and all the sanitizing stations and all that. So we went and looked at it and said, well, we're a much smaller operation. We're not like Encore, MGM, or any of these other casinos, Plainridge. And we said, okay, well, we'll clean our video games every 2 hours. We only have 50 games or 40 games or 60 games or 100. We're half or a third of what the casinos have, or a lot less. So we can do it every 2 hours. So we doubled our cleaning efforts, and they basically said no. They literally said, thanks, but no thanks. And they're tying us in, which is really strange. They're tying us in with ball pits. A ball pit hasn't been built in Massachusetts probably since 1984 when McDonald's took the last one out.
I was going to say, I don't remember seeing a ball pit lately.
Well, that might be something different for you, Josh. But Mike and I would remember the ball pit. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. So they're tying us together with ball pits, and it's just crazy. And then our answer is like, you're right. Ball pits shouldn't be open. They're gross. They're germ infested. But we've known that for 40 years that they're germ infested. They shouldn't be used.
Right. So just close the ball pit, and if the casinos have the slot machines, then
correct. And the arcades. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that you can have like the video games and the arcade games open.
So on July 1st, the arcades were part of phase 3 reopening. On July 2nd, they revised their reopening guidelines, and that's the latest guidelines that's come out is July 2nd. And that's when we were moved from phase 3 to phase 4 for the arcades. Yeah, I don't know the rhyme or reason to it. I really don't. We're really trying to figure. I almost went for the Patron. Hold on, let me go for the coffee.
Such a natural.
So, do you think something like bad happened to Charlie Baker in an arcade when he was a kid, and that's why he's, he
could have been playing Big Bertha, and maybe something happened, or the skee ball came back and whacked him in the knee. I mean, I don't know what happened, but it's honestly, I think it's because the people that they had on their committees, they never had anyone from an industry that was related to that. And I'll just use, I think the closest thing that we had was Davios, the owner of Davios, that he was involved in that reopening committee. But, that would be like me saying, okay, let me set the guidelines for hotels. I don't know anything about a hotel. I stay in them quite a bit, this, that, and everything else. But I wouldn't know what the proper reopening guidelines are for a hotel. And what's happening is they allowed all these people to create these guidelines with little or no information or little to no, basically, knowledge about that industry.
Now, I just want to.
He got his restaurant open, though.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of those big restaurants. Yeah. And again, it's probably because they have a little more leverage, correct, I guess you could call it.
Correct.
Whether it's a lobbying thing or whatever, revenue thing. But I just want to make it clear, we know that this is a pandemic, and this disease has killed thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people across the world. But my main concern, or my question, is why aren't these rules consistent with each other? And it's just for the reason you brought up. It seems like the people that were on the committee were favoring this just seems like Massachusetts politics, or politics as usual in general.
Right.
We're just making sure that we're taken care of, and not really, And do you see this at all at any point as like maybe, I guess, to give those people an advantage, like to kind of get rid of some of the competition out there?
I don't know. I don't think there was any type of ill will or any type of scenario like that. I don't see that happening. I think it was just the lack of information, the lack of knowledge. And I don't think I don't think any of those people have been in an arcade since maybe they were 5. And so I think the knowledge and experience of what an arcade has really kind of skewed their opinion.
I have a question. I was in an arcade.
I'm sorry. We'll be just 1 second. We'll be right back.
Oh, are you giving me one of these?
What does it mean?
You know what? Yeah, exactly, Josh. That's a Greg Hill thing, right? So Dave, I don't know, Dave, if it's the same experience when you started filling in, running the board for that show. So when when I first started, he was giving me all these like hand signals and stuff, right? And I was just like, it would help if you told me what those meant before you started giving those to me. I have no idea. I've never seen this in my life.
That's the international sign of going to commercials.
Yeah, is that what that is? Like segue, or go to the next spot? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
Sorry.
And then this. You know what this means, Josh? That means hit the soundbite. That means go to the news intro.
Yeah, but that's also how he talks. So it's
yeah, and then he goes like this, and then he'll talk like this, and you're like, what am I not doing? Oh my God, I'm triggered. Thanks.
Sorry, I didn't mean to kind of go off on a tangent there, but
Jesus
it was
Christ.
good time to bring that back.
Yeah, right.
That was like the first, when I was running the board for the morning show, that was like the first thing that ever happened was Greg did this, and I was just staring at him like, is your finger okay?
What
What does that mean? What are you doing? Hand yoga? What is that?
And then he said, my generation has a problem with listening, and I walked away.
Oh, really? Jesus Christ. Well, Dave, I'm sorry. I've brought it up on this podcast a lot. It's like, why are there certain rules for live music venues and bars and restaurants and maybe other restaurants that, it's just, we're wondering the same thing you are, and you're not getting any answers either. Right?
I'm not. And meanwhile, you look at Massachusetts, we have the highest unemployment in the country right now. We have the highest death rate per 100,000 or whatever the per cap is right now. We have the highest death rate in the country right now. Something's going wrong in this state.
We're number one.
We are number one for all the wrong reasons, though, Josh. I mean, it's horrible, and it's been mismanaged, and no one's holding them responsible. But damn it, I can't use my arcade. I'm like, but no one can play Donkey Kong right now.
What I don't
get do outdoor arcades.
Yeah, do outdoor arcades. Can you do that? Like
outdoor bowling?
Just my luck. That would be the one day it starts to rain.
Right.
I need rain to bring people into bowl all summer. Then the one day I move all my games outside, it pours out. That would be my
now
day.
Duck Hunt is filled with water.
Oh God. What?
Come over here and electrocute yourself.
Have you considered doing the outdoor live music thing? I noticed some other places are doing that. Now, what's the rule on that in Massachusetts? The rule about the live music thing gets me is that, like, some restaurants who have the occasional guy with the guitar set up in the corner can still have music, but live music venues who, will make their livelihood off it can't have anything at all. Right? Is that the deal?
So the way it's stated in Massachusetts right now, and it really just depends on which Board of Health, because basically right now the Board of Health are basically in charge of the state right now. You got the Health and Human Services Director that's in charge of setting all these guidelines. There's really not Charlie Baker. It's these people that are creating these rules. But then they push them down to the Board of Health in every community to mandate and make sure that people are following the rules. So the rules that came down from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is that if you have a band, they have to be, ready for this one, 10 feet apart from each other. So a 5-piece band is 50 feet, all right? So 50 feet.
Who's a stage that big, right?
50 feet, and then we have to be 25 feet from the guest.
Oh, my God.
That's the rules right now.
Okay, so if you had a band if you had Fuel come back and play.
You know where I'd put them?
Where?
On my roof.
Right.
On my roof at Pinz.
Seriously, could you get away with that?
I could put them 50 feet apart, total, 5-piece band, and put everyone down in the parking lot. The neighbors might not like me, but
that's insane.
How about Limp Bizkit?
Yeah, it's like Limp Bizkit all over again.
Right,
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, except instead of people running, like thousands of people running down the street to see them, it'll be Spaz. His hat on backwards, going, "Fred, I shook your hand." Yeah, that's so crazy.
The music industry has been decimated. And from the local scene all the way up to even the big bands. It's been really tough for those guys. I know that, and some towns have been much more lenient about it. I mean, and that's where sometimes it frustrates me. But I would never turn on my friendly restaurant down the street because they live in a different town, and that Board of Health person isn't kind of commanding or demanding that they follow the guidelines. So I'm like, oh, wait a minute, a band's playing where this weekend? I'm like, how are they doing that? If I ever did that, I'd be shut down. I'd have a cease and desist letter within probably 5 hours. The Milford's really strict with the Board of Health rules.
I know
other towns may not be.
In Mansfield, they had a restaurant called the Ming Dynasty. I don't know if you read that story. And they got suspended just for one day, but they had a group of people in their bar drinking. And the problem was, one, they weren't serving any food. Nobody had masks on, but they weren't serving any food. And the music was on so loud that it could be considered an entertainment venue. Like they're not a live music venue or anything. They just had the music playing so loud that the person who went in there to bust them said, well, the music's at a volume where this can be considered an entertainment venue, so we're going to bust you on that.
So at this point, are we even talking about the virus anymore? Like,
again, like I said with a lot of these, I think they just do it because they can.
It's Mike, the way to explain it for these Board of Health people and these people that are controlling everything, or for their individual towns. This is their Super Bowl.
Right.
They are in charge. This is their Super Bowl. They've got the ball. They are running to that goal line, and they're going to score, and they're going to score every day of the week, and that's what's happening.
But the problem is, I don't mind them being in charge. There's no consistency.
There is none.
Rules or enforcement.
No, there is none.
I understand a town-to-town thing. You want the towns and the cities to have, to be independent to a certain degree, but you'd think during something like this where there are people dying. And again,
Correct.
we're not whining so much as, I can't go bowling and have a beer. It's more like, people, there are jobs here, and people, along with people passing away from this disease, there's also people that are struggling because they've lost their jobs.
Correct. And yet we were elbow to elbow in Target this weekend because it was tax-free.
Right. Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
And that's where the common sense of it just goes right out the window. And you're like, wait a minute, I can't go here and do this, whether it be go roller skating. Roller rinks are not allowed to open. I don't own one, but obviously I used to, so I know a lot of people in the industry. They can't open right now. But an ice rink can.
Yeah, I just played hockey the other day.
Yep. Can't roller skate though, because clearly that's much worse.
Is it because the virus slips on the ice?
I think it's
what it is when
right on by.
Yes, because when you're on the ice, we could take our masks off, but if you're on the bench, you need to wear a mask. I'm like, so I can go slam somebody up against the boards and our face.
Spit on. Don't forget you spit on them.
Yeah, right. and then get to the bench. Then you got to be careful.
Yeah, it's really it's bizarre. It's just
it is crazy.
Yeah.
I just went to a show in Fitchburg, and the rule was if you were sitting, you didn't have to have a mask on. And I stood up for a few minutes, and someone came over and they're like, if you don't want to wear a mask, you need to sit back down. And I sat back down, and I was like, this is getting stupid.
The virus can't survive under 4 feet from the ground, apparently. Is that what it is?
I think so. Or on ice.
Yeah. If
you're no, it's not on ice. Yeah. But it's on ski balls.
Right.
And it's on that 16 inches of a bar that you have to pass the drink through too. That's why that's like a no pass zone.
I know, that was so ridiculous. Yeah. That's just so ridiculous to me, but I don't know. Well, I'm sorry you're going through that. One more really important question I have for you as someone who's operated a public, like a restaurant or an entertainment establishment, but it's specifically about bowling. What is the grossest thing you've had to clean up off of a lane?
I've never cleaned anything up off the lane. I have employees. Well, I did have employees.
Well, you never got a call like, hey, there's something over here. We're not quite sure what it is. It might be an animal. We don't know. Somebody threw up their nachos.
Well, you've had all that. You've had
jammed.
You've done the college senior week parties, and then you find a couple people having sex up in laser tag. I mean, you've seen stuff like that.
Really?
Laser tag.
Yeah.
Do you have the black lights up there?
Or maybe I think that's why they went up there, was for the black light experience.
Not the place the evidence is so. It's right there. It's
what are you doing?
You weren't having sex. This stain on the floor here says something else, sir. That wasn't there 5 minutes ago.
We've seen quite a bit over the years of our stuff, but I mean, I haven't seen the cow has not run through the building. There hasn't been a whatever. People throw up all the time. It happens. They get sick. It's pretty gross.
Great.
But we clean.
Another thing is so you're renting shoes, right?
Yes.
And I know you spray those. I mean, I just don't get you said the ball, is the ball return only handles those balls, and that group of people stays with it. But it just seems like they're sharing equipment.
It's the rationale behind it, Mike, is illogical. It really is.
Because if it was all right, because those ball returns are just serving that one group of people, then why don't you just have them in all the lanes, and that'll just be,
you use You use the blue balls, someone else uses the green balls.
Stu, you used to be a professional bowler, right?
Ooh.
What? No, I participated in a semi-pro candlepin league once because the team.
No, I think that's professional right there.
No, I don't know. It was the Mohawk Lanes in Webster. I don't know how professional these guys are putting booties on their shoes, so they didn't get anything on them when they went to the bathroom and stuff.
Do you still have them?
No, I rented my shoes. Nobody else. I was the only guy in the league there that didn't rent or that was renting shoes. Everybody had their own shoes. These guys just called me in for the night because they wanted, like this guy. He said, "Hey, you want to come and fill in for this guy?" And I was like, "Okay, well, I haven't done candlepin bowling since I was in like high school." And he's like, "That's okay. It's good if you suck because we're trying to bring our average down so they could take on a team at a certain level in the playoffs or whatever." I'm like, "Well, then I'm your man."
Yeah, it's like golf. What's your handicap? Oh, dude, I suck. Oh, okay, come on with us. You'll help us quite well. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I was just like, okay, I can do that. And I couldn't believe how serious the Candlepin League was. The clothing and do you have league over there at Pinz, or is it just like drunk crazy? What do they call it? Like
entertainment. We call it entertainment now. We don't call it drunk crazy.
I'm sorry. That's right. Nobody gets drunk at Pinz at all. Yeah. So do you have like the spinning lights and all that stuff while you're bowling?
Well, we have all the light show and everything. Yeah. But I don't even bowl. I
That's a glowing endorsement for your establishments.
Well, no. I'm in the business I'm in the entertainment business. I'm not there. They always say the worst person to open up a bowling alley or a roller rink or an ice skating rink is a competitive person that's into the sport, like heavily into the sport. Because then all of a sudden they're so focused on the sport that they forget about their business and generating revenue and keeping the business afloat because they're so busy practicing their sport and it's the God's honest truth. I've seen a lot of skating rinks fail, ice rinks fail, some not so many bowling places fail with that, but I've seen it.
But you want that bachelorette party to come in there and not have to worry about rules and proper play and stuff like that.
Correct. Yeah, we want them to have a good time. Yeah. We turn the follow light, the buzzer to go. We turn the buzzer off so the follow light can go off every time. Oh, I got another zero. No. All right, you went past the line just a hair. You're okay. You still get your 10 points. You know what I mean? You're okay. Keep going. So.
All right. Well, Dave, good luck, man.
I appreciate
your efforts to just try to find out, what the hell's going on and get some kind of consistency with any of the rules. I
think a couple things are going to happen. I think, after Labor Day happens, I'm sure you're going to see the governor probably open up a few more things in the Commonwealth. And I think that's just because we're going back into fall season. I hate to say it, but it'd be interesting to see what happens after Election Day. All of the, whether who wins or not, that's not the point right now. I just think both sides are going to stop the fight, at least for the time being. And then all of a sudden there's no more pandemic.
As they'll be in their off season.
Yes.
I don't think it looks good because with the way the whole back to school thing is looking.
That's not looking good. I agree with you on that. Although I think it was the University of Phoenix. I think they've done not the online college that we remember in Westboro.
Their social distancing is fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, Arizona State. That's what I meant. I'm so sorry. I got the city, but not the state. That's right. I'm like, God, that doesn't sound right. But Arizona State, they've been doing a great job trying to track what's going on and how to contact trace. I think they said they were testing the water in the buildings out of the sewer system. And so basically they could detect it in that. And then they were going back and going, okay, hey, this building, we've got some COVID coming out of this building. And then they literally would test everyone in the building is what I heard.
Arizona State's kind of got that down because they've been doing that with STDs for years.
Yeah, well, yes, I've heard the smoke show at the campus. I think I'd like to go out there myself.
Yeah, if a school, like a party school like Arizona State can actually get a grapple on it, then there's a little bit of hope there for other. Right now,
let me write that one down. Arizona State, yes.
If Arizona State could do it, you could do it too. Right? But hey, thanks a lot for coming on with us, man, and trying to help explain what the rules are, because everybody wants to go out, everybody wants to have a good time. People are just done doing what we're doing here on Zoom or FaceTime or whatever. They want to go out and have a few drinks and relax, and it's tough.
It's going to change again, Mike. once this weather breaks and people can't hang outside at those outdoor bars anymore, it's going to change. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, which restaurants fail. There are going to be some more restaurants that are going to fail, a lot more because of this, because people are afraid to go indoors. And the state right now only allows us to use our expanded patios through November 1st. So after November 1st, those patios are all gone unless we get a permanent approval or the state expands it. Of course, at that point, it's still too
even
it's
if
too
you
cold.
have the outdoor heaters and stuff like they have, you can't do it that way.
Any of the temporarily expanded patios that the restaurants got access to do, they had to get quick approvals from the towns. That approval ends November 1st.
Phew. Jeez, oh man.
God.
Well,
So,
are
you're
you
going to see some failures in the restaurant business.
Are you guys? I know, like you said, your food is like pub food, and it's
Sure.
But are you guys doing takeout at all or anything like that?
We do, but again, it's the same scenario. I pull up, say I'm looking to go to somewhere to eat, I'm going through the list on, say, Open Table or whatever. I'm going to look at Pinz and go right by it. It's nothing disrespectful to my menu.
No, but like you're in Milford, so if you had a choice between Pinz and say like Prezzo.
Sure. I'm going to pick Prezzo, or I'm going to pick Alicante and Mendon, or 89 and Milford. Yeah. I mean, it's just, of course, I have a higher taste bud level. I like the finer things in life.
Of course. Yeah.
Yes.
That's right. Doug Dave doesn't fucking bowl, man. All right.
I don't go to Outback.
Hey, man, the Bloomin' Onion. Come on. After like 6 beers, that Bloomin' Onion's amazing. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot, man. Good. Hey, listen, good luck, and keep in touch and let us know what's going on. And
also, everyone go vote for David Breen.
Selectman Breen tomorrow. Breen. The election's. Oh my God! I gotta go. Hold on.
You better get out there. Get out there in the intersection with your sign. Yeah, Dave. Josh has never bowled the big balls.
I haven't.
So there's 3 holes in the big ball. All right. You can choose the hole you want to put your finger in and just go from there, kid.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
so we got to let us know when we can come down there and
I'd love to have you guys.
I'd love to do the podcast live from there. That'd be fantastic.
Oh yeah.
But of course,
we can do that.
Like,
I live right down the street.
Who knows?
Yeah, and you've never been there. Thanks, Josh.
I have.
Don't defend yourself. Hey, Mike, congrats, by the way, with your getting back on the air, man. Great to have you back on.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks to Bob Goodell and Bob Goodell.
Goody's a good guy. Yeah.
Goody's a good guy. And Chuck
Goody's a good guy.
Goody, yeah, good. That's why he's Goodell, But that's a lot of fun, man. Thanks. I appreciate that.
That's awesome.
And then we'll get you on there also, and I can take all your hours again. So
you're gonna take this kid's hours?
Oh yeah! Yes.
Dude, that was the worst.
Look at this kid.
That was the worst Real Rock TV interview ever. I was so nervous. Look at the camera, by the way.
That's like typical for Ian Barrett. He would like grab me at shows, like, "Hey, you got to come over here and interview this band right now." Like no like notice, no prep whatsoever. Just come over here and like.
Tommy Lee with the camera.
What's that?
Is that Tommy Lee with the camera?
Who knows what was going on? They said he just has to go find this band called Limp Bizkit. A couple guys from Limp Bizkit are walking around. I'm like, okay. So there's Westmoreland and Sam Rivers. I'm like, oh my God. And he's carrying it. He's got a camera like this big, and I'm like.
When was that?
1996.
Wow.
I was literally on the air with AAF probably 5 months at that point. Real Rock TV had literally just come out, and they sent me up to it wasn't the Warped Tour. It was, I think it was the Warped Tour up in Northampton.
Oh, no shit. They were on the Warped Tour, huh?
Yeah, wow. They played on the main stage. They played right after the Mighty Mighty Boss Stones.
Wow.
So they played after the headlining act. So that's how below, no one had any idea who they were. But that was the worst. Thanks, Josh. That was the worst interview ever. When AAF went off the air and I pulled up that video and I refound it and I'm like, dude, I suck, And real quick, it was like one time years ago when Ozone was still there, and I got a call from Dave Douglas. Goes, hey, listen, last second, Lane Staley's coming in. He's in town, and you're on the air, so you're gonna have to interview him. I'm like, okay, I'm like all excited. I'm trying to figure out who the hell Lane Staley was at the first time, and Ozone came in and he goes, "Hey, listen, I'm going to do the interview." I was so mad. But he probably saved my ass like there was no tomorrow. So it went from the worst interview ever to probably a really good interview. You know what I mean? I'm like, thank God. I was so mad that day. But the more I thought about it over the time, I'm like, I would have really screwed that up, man. That would have been really ugly.
Who are you?
Did you interview anybody else in your time up there?
A couple of people would call the studio every now and again. I'm trying to think who came in. No, for the most part, I did Limp Bizkit a couple times. Hell, Godsmack was in the studio every other weekend.
Yeah, they were always coming.
They were kind of just the Delta 88. The Delta 88 was parked out front. I think I interviewed Carmelita's dog Morgan one time. That was a lot of fun.
Morgan. The beautiful Dobie. Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, it was great with the vest, with the sweater vest.
Right. Yeah.
No, that was. I think I did a few guys, a few bands, but nothing real crazy. It was great when I got an interview like Lenny Clark, because that interview you said hi and then the interview was done. You know what I mean? And that was, he just carried you right through the interview, and it didn't matter.
All rolling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Lenny was great. I did him a few times, but it was, I miss it. I really do. There's going to be a point when I think I want to get my headphones back on and get back on the air, because as you know, Mike, especially, it's a passion. It's something we love to do.
Yeah.
It's a drug.
For a while, I was kind of like not in it at all. I had to switch my brain, like everything you do and say and wherever you go, you always try to like, how do I incorporate this into my show? And then, so when they shut down the station, I was kind of like, I was still doing that.
Yeah.
But I was just basically doing it with my family, in the car. And they were like, God, you got to get back on the air.
Dude, I got to tell you, to this day, I'll go down the road and a song will segue into another song. And right away, I start talking like Boston's rock station. I'm going down.
It's like in you. Yeah, I know. I understand. It was nice.
Damn it, I hit the post again.
Right. Yeah. It's just, it's a weird, Jeff Charles at HJY, he used to be the afternoon guy at HJY, put it best. His radio is a sickness. Yeah. It's a sickness people have, and they think that people give a shit about what they have to say, so they have to get a microphone in front of them. And, it's just something that's, like Josh, like you love stand-up,
Yeah.
And, when was the last time you did a stand-up gig? To people?
Not my wife. Probably 8 months was the last time I ever did stand up.
It's kind of like that. You want that. It's like a certain kind of thrill we don't get anywhere else.
Yeah, we don't. You're absolutely right. It's sorely missed. That's for sure. So someday I'll be back on the air and maybe be with you, Mike.
All right. Maybe not. Thanks for the warning. All right. Doug Dave Green Breen, or Selectman Breen, or just David Breen. If you can, go down to Pinz and
I'm getting dinner from there tonight.
Yeah, you better, man.
Possibly do legally at Pinz. Please try to do it.
Yeah, take a picture if you do it and send it to me, will you, please?
Yeah, and help out a local business.
Yeah, all right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Good luck, man. Good luck.
Thank you. See you guys.
All right, are we done here? What are we doing?
I think so. We did the sponsors, right? And
let's do the sponsors again.
Okay.
What are those again?
I think somebody with Garage Doors Plus. Go to gdplus.com, and Boston Exterior Remodeling, and Wolfpack Coffee, and Invoke Media. We thank you so much for. They've been with us for a while now, like since the beginning, and
it's been like 6 months, right?
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
It feels like 7 minutes, but also like a million years.
It's really opposite. I was telling Carrie, I'm on the latest episode of Mistress Carrie's podcast. So if you want to check that out, we talk about the same exact thing. To her, she said the same thing. It seems like it's a couple of weeks. To me, it seems like it was 7 years ago.
Right?
It seems like a long time ago. I think it's because of the pandemic and not being able to go anywhere. And
like yesterday on my Facebook memories, it popped up was when we did that the live broadcast at the blood drive in Framingham, I think it was.
Yeah, you put up the
I was like,
video.
Yeah. I was like, that was only a year ago?
Yeah.
It seems like it seems like that was a different life.
Right. Exactly. This 2020 is just a friggin' weird time loop.
And I feel like when AF went off the air and then the pandemic hitting, that in my head, I'm still kind of like, well, once coronavirus is done, and I keep having the thought, like, once I'm back in the studio, I'm like, oh no, that's just not there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah. Hopefully they'll get a vaccine. My worry about the vaccine is they'll rush it. And everybody will get this vaccine.
And we'll be sick for a different reason.
Then we'll like have arms growing out of our necks or something like that, or
that's how the zombie apocalypse starts.
Right? Exactly.
I mean, it's just going to get worse. Nothing.
Gonna start eating each other, but
yeah, it's
all right. Well, thanks to our sponsors, and don't forget to go to breakingtheicepodcast.com. You can
get your mugs.
You can get your mugs, your T-shirts. You can listen to or watch all the episodes. Before we go, I want to thank. I do another podcast called Long May You Young. It's a Neil Young podcast, and I do it with Luke and Russ Condon from the band Town Meeting, who Josh knows very well. He grew up with those guys.
Sometimes I show up unannounced.
Yeah, sometimes he crashes the Long May You Young podcast, even though he knows nothing about Neil Young.
Nope.
But I want to thank Luke Condon for getting me a really nice gift. He dropped off at my house yesterday. The first Christopher Cross album that won so many Grammys.
Wow.
In the day. Yeah, it's got Sailing on it and Ride Like the Wind. And on the last podcast, I think I was shitting all over this album. And he said he found it at a yard sale and he thought of me instantly. So he got
a yard sale or the trash can?
Most likely the later, probably.
Oh, okay.
Cross.
And it's got the official Lemonster logo on it.
That's right. Home of the Pink Flamingo. Yeah. So, thanks, Luke Condon. Check out the Long May You Young podcast. Here's this is the band that those guys are in Town Meeting. Check out their latest album. They're awesome too. I can't get the reflection off the guy's face. Sorry, buddy. But yeah, they're awesome. They're a great band. So. All right, Josh.
All right.
Thanks a lot. This has been relatively quiet without Isaiah here.
I know. He said he was going to jump in, but he never did. Oh. And we got words in.
You know why? He's got a real job. That's why.
I wouldn't call it that. I don't know exactly what he does.
He's got a real. Yeah, that's true. I don't know exactly what he does, but it's something he does every day. So I guess that's a real job.
He's always just talking to clients. I'm like, what do you do for them?
Clients. Yes. Heidi Fleiss called them clients too. All right. Well, thank you very much. And again, check out breakingtheicepodcast.com.
Yes. Goodbye. I was trying to share the picture of Luke and I got distracted.
Oh, no.
It didn't work.
All right, man.
Breaking the ice.
Well, so it's usually just your group that's touching the balls, and then we go in and clean your balls when you're done.